Do you know what happened to China in the Walking Dead universe? At the beginning of the outbreak, did they survive or not? Did you know that there are answers about this? Several explanations, and even yes, China is one of the few countries that started in a very good way, very early on, but there are several different details there. And in this video I decided to bring everything about it and tell this, which at the time of the beginning of the outbreak of the Walking Dead was one of the most populous countries in the world. So you can see the importance. If you wanna know, stay here and let's go. Hello everyone who watching this beautiful channel, my name is João Victor and I'm back to talk about the Walking Dead universe again, but now let's talk about a very important country that is one of the biggest in the world, a country full of controversy, also a country full of people. Let's talk about China. What we have about this country in the Walking Dead universe. Let me explain, but first don't forget to check the like in this video, it helps me a lot with the promotion, and also if you like more content about the Walking Dead universe, don't forget to subscribe in this channel, and there we go. Here's the thing, everyone knows that when we talk about the universe of the Walking Dead, in its overwhelming majority, more than 19% of the time, more than that, we are going to talk about the United States, because most of the stories take place there. And we're also going to talk about the Rick's group, even if it's in France, when the first 2 seasons of the Arrow series take place. Now it has started to expand more, still we'll see things about Rick's people. But we are talking about the universe that has been confirmed for a long time, including the first season of the Walking Dead itself, which this virus heated all over the world. The outbreak happened all over the world. We don't even know of any country that hasn't had the outbreak. And yeah, when it comes to the year in which the outbreak of the Walking Dead takes place, which is 2010 in this story, there was a country that at that time, in that year, was the most populous in the world, which was China. Yeah, it was only after that, in the real world, that India became the #1. But in the story of the Walking Dead, when it started, it was still China. So it's very curious for us to imagine what happened there. Because the fact that the zombie virus of the Walking Dead has a specific issue that all people in the world, without even having contact with the zombies, are already contaminated. This shows more how everything was global already. Like anyone on planet Earth, it can be the most distant island in the world and isolated, the person will still become a zombie when they die. This fact specifically increases the curiosities about China, and that's where we get to the point. There are at least 2 points, one in the universe of the Walking Dead in TV, and the other is in the issue of the books and the comics. These 2 points address China. So first, let's talk about The Walking Dead Typhoon. Yeah, one of the most recent works of writing, like of The Walking Dead, which is not part of the Walking Dead comics. It is written mainly by this guy called Wesley Chu, but there we have the participation of the original creator and writer of The Walking Dead, who is Robert Kirkman. So yeah, it can be considered canonical in the universe. Robert Kirkman himself has already given interviews saying this is what he has of vision that really happened to China in the universe of The Walking Dead. So let's go. What we know about the beginning of the outbreak in China. According to what we have in the book, it started at the exact moment than the rest of the whole world. So you can understand that even on the other side of the planet Earth, the virus arrived at once as well. It was a global spread. You get a crazy level of infection. This increases the possibilities then of the virus really spreading through the air. We don't have the confirmation of how the virus spread, because to be so fact in all places in the world at the same time, it has to be by air. But that's where it is. Unlike the United States, it collapsed and quickly succumbed to zombies. The military plans all went wrong. I already told you about the Operation Cobalt here. Unlike the United States, China, despite having a much larger population, was able to carry out a much faster and more effective response to this spread of the zombie virus. But like this, it wasn't all cute, beautiful, and wonderful. There were sacrifices too. According to what is revealed, one of the first things that Chinese government did in this universe of The Walking Dead was to isolate the cities and fight the infected in a brutal way. Military and local authorities have set up blockades in various provinces and cities, and many areas have been completely abandoned and sacrificed, yeah, to be able to contain all this. So just like Operation Cobalt in the United States, which was the last instance of bombing big cities, the operation there in China had something similar, but it seems that there at the beginning it worked better. It involved the sacrifice of some civilians, so similar strategies as the United States, but China managed to maintain control for much longer. But for how long? That's the question. That's where one of the most important points comes into the story, which apparently gave them an advantage. So because they have this population of more than 1 billion people in 2010, which is when the apocalypse of The Walking Dead happens, they had to be much more prepared, because it was going to be a bigger disaster. disaster. According to details we can find in the book, drones were used to monitor the risk areas and also to eliminate infected people in a more massive way, while some military exoskeletons and military armor made it easier for some of these humans there, who repressed the zombies to be able to eliminate more easily and protect themselves. In addition, it is revealed that the Chinese developed more specialized weapons specific to the situation over time. Some drones equipped with blades and armored vehicles that could crush entire herds. So you can see an explanation that in this story of The Walking Dead, Chinese military technology was much more advanced than American military technology. And that's one of the reasons why China has been able to last longer. Like, you can think, if you can have some drones, some very prepared drones, I don't know, like launch missiles or that have blades, some drones that are a little smaller to explode some herds, or some larger armored vehicles that crush herds without spoiling, or even exoskeletons to be able to attack the zombies without the soldier dying. Like, all of this is a huge advantage. And so you can see the opportunity that AMC missed to bring this to the universe of The Walking Dead, to TVs. How cool this would be to watch, because it's not something made up. In real life, in some places in the world, it is possible to have this. And also, The Walking Dead is fictional, they can create more. Like that, zombies are fictional, but this issue of these military technologies are not fake. We have this in many countries of the world. And if it doesn't exist in some places, there's a way to do it, you know. But that's where the question lies. As I said in the beginning of the video, not everything was perfect in China. It has problems and didn't go 100% well. Even with all this strategy, the number of infected zombies played totally against the government. They could handle a lot, but the zombie population became so larger, as we really imagine, because the population of more than 1 billion people, the population became so large that even these most advanced technologies became not to be as effective. Basically, you can't contain a zombie pandemic when millions of infected people emerge every day. Millions new and new, more and more. And then we get into the point that is also very interesting for them to explore in The Walking Dead. It is said in the book that several areas continued to survive, others gradually collapsed. Millions of people decided to flee to the interior of the country, and it was in this scenario that one of the most dangerous places in the world emerged in this apocalypse of The Walking Dead, the so-called Yangtze Valley. I think the right way to pronounce this is Yangtze. I don't know how the pronunciation is correct, but that would be it. I will show in the screen this frame here from The Ones Who Live, which is the photo of the most zombies we have on TV on The Walking Dead, but apparently it's even bigger than this entire valley. Just this herd of The Ones Who Live, the spin-off of Rick and Michonne, that was in the United States, already had millions of zombies. You can imagine something bigger than that with China. It must be a huge deal. You can imagine billions of zombies all together in one valley. It's insane, it's crazy. It is described that the population has literally been transformed into something like an ocean of zombies. Where do we hear this before? At the time of the Whispers arc in The Walking Dead. There we already had the Ocean of the Dead in the United States, which was already something very big, stratospheric, very large. So you can imagine in China that was much bigger. Like, the opportunity they are missing, let it be shown. But that's right, that's what we know of the main thing about this book. And then we go to another mention that there was in the universe of The Walking Dead, which was where? It happens in one of those web episodes, which shows the story of Chase, the guy who hid in a storage. He's even the character who finds Rick's belongings stored in one of the storages there, proving that this was the place that Rick kept some of the belongings that were left of him. There are family photos of him, something from his graduation as a policeman, but there's a moment during the episode that, along with one of the guys there, Chase comments that the latest news said that China was fine. And I have to remember that these web episodes of The Walking Dead, especially this cold storage one, takes place at the beginning of the apocalypse, around the first weeks and the first months. So you can't know what happened to China after all this. But considering the size of China's population, which may have disappearing and all that, considering the highly advanced military technology that helped them last longer, this technology may have been in the hands of some groups. And we also have the point about the valley that most of the zombies were. So if there really is this valley there in China, it is possible that even in this moment of the story of The Walking Walking Dead, there are some areas that are habitat, there are people there. Just don't get close to this valley. That's what we can theorize about China at the current moment of the Walking Dead universe, that we are around 12 years into the apocalypse. If you consider Rick's spin-offs, although we don't have any scenes showing China in the Walking Dead universe yet, it is quite possible that it is the country in this universe that has the most survivors. It is even possible that they are starting a new world order that is expanding. I wouldn't doubt, for example, that there's a group there that could be bigger, even than the CRM that we saw in The Ones Who Live. Okay, in this spin-off, we also have the Major General Bill, the leader of the CRM, saying that there are people infiltrated in countries all over the world, so it's even possible that they have the information about China. But so, you can see this video and question, will the universe of The Walking Dead on TV ever be able to address this? So, recently we had some interviews with Scott Gimple, who is the content director of The Walking Dead universe. Especially in one of the interviews for the website The Direct, he confirmed that there's a new spin-off being developed, which has not been announced yet, but that it will take place in another country in the world. And also he mentioned about some regions that he wants to do. For example, in Asia, Africa, and also in the Oceania. So then, could be the next planned spin-off be China, take advantage of this story from the book. So, to be true, I wouldn't count on that. It may not be, do not create so much expectation, but at some point, as he wants to expand to various places in the world, he may want to do it, and think it would work very well. And I think it would work very well to show this. And also, I want you to put in the comments what you think about this story of China, if you think there are more survivors there due to the technology, if you even think that they may be more advanced in the matter of discovering the cure or not. So go write in the comments what you think about this story. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, which here I always update many things. If you want me to make a coverage about Dead City Season 2, just tell me and leave the like here, it helps me a lot with the promotion. I'll be back soon, thank you for watching and bye!